Welcome to Respawn Rundown Episode 3. We are once again in an online format. We'll be back in the studio next week. It is what it is.
Yeah,
So to
OBS, you've made an enemy. Like,
OBS has
oh,
not been nice to us.
it's
Actually
been
been a
a
pain.
it's been a roller coaster for sure.
But
But
eh, we're getting it to work anyways.
we're here.
So we're just we made
Gonna
it.
gotta run down the matches from last weekend. There was not a lot, there was a few good matches, but a lot of bad matches. And, you know, we thought maybe things could get better for OpTic. They didn't. In fact, they're worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's just been such a struggle for OpTic, and there's been the clip of Nade Shot talking about OpTic's situation right now. And I mean, even Hex uploaded a vlog this morning talking about it a little bit. And
Did you
they're both saying like
see? Did you see the Shotzi clip that's going on Twitter? He was
the one
watching.
where he was talking on stream.
Well, yeah. Well, he was watching Pred play eights, and he was like, "AG's soaking time on hill in eights, but not in game." I'm like, "Oh no! I know it's complete troll. I know he's clip farming, but there's gotta be some truth to that, you know."
Yeah. But
But
I
we'll
mean,
get
it's
into
just been
OpTic.
such. Yeah, I mean, Nate Shot was saying that like he's never seen this in the history of the esport. It's never uh, like a slump like this, at least for a team like OpTic at the caliber of
I
OpTic.
would say, especially a world championship roster.
Yeah, they just won champs last year, the same exact players they just won champs with, and now all of a sudden they're not piecing it together. It's just really strange to watch on the map. Like they're all just kind of running solo. I know Study said like they're trying to play hero ball. And I mean, that's exactly what it is. It just seems like they're all strung out solo on the map, either trying to make a big play that is kind of unrealistic or trying
Unnecessary.
to yeah, or just like doing unnecessary shit on the map. It's just they don't look like the same team that was meshing together at Champs just a few months ago. I mean, it's just super strange to see. And I mean, even like Ken in Hector's vlog this morning was saying that like he wants that one thing to happen. He wants it like they want that spark. They just need the spark because they are just such in a rut right now. And I mean, if they just keep getting slammed and slammed and
It's gonna
slammed,
get
I-
worse.
it's just gonna keep getting
It's
worse.
gonna get worse,
Yeah,
and then it's gonna start
the
getting
morale
personal. That's the
yeah, the team
that's
morale is gonna go down, and then they're gonna start getting angry at each other, and then that's when everything just starts. It just gets worse.
I
So,
think that's
I
what
mean, I
I've
agree with
been
Ken.
the most impressive part
In
about this is the fact
yeah,
that they're not turning on each other yet. Because usually
yeah,
that's one of the first things to go after a loss streak is, all right, who's to blame for like X, Y, and Z?
yeah.
And
Who's
so
to
far
blame for
they've
us
had each other's
losing or
back.
the
So that's
yeah?
impressive to me.
And like yeah, I mean, I completely agree with what Kenny is saying. I mean, these four players have obviously proven themselves in past in past CODs. Just even this year, at the beginning of the year, we looked pretty good. But in terms of right now, I mean, I'm hoping these guys can either just get a win against a good like a mid-tier team. I feel like even a win against a mid-tier team could do a lot for these guys right
Well, they don't play a mid-tier team. In fact, they play
now.
what some people are calling the best team in the league right now in LAT today. Because it isn't possible for us to record one of these the day before. Apparently.
Yeah, not even
But
OBS wants us to do this
yeah,
shit on time.
we tried. Um, but
I'm
getting
I'm
into
not looking.
last week's matches,
Yeah.
we got a rematch of the Minor 2 finals in Vancouver Surge and LA Thieves. And a lot of people were saying this one was going to be a close one.
I mean,
Um,
I was even saying it the
yeah,
other week.
I
Like
thought it was too. Yeah,
I
I
thought
thought it
this
was
match, I
gonna
mean,
be.
the way that Surge looked in that final against these guys, I really thought that they would come back, have it a little more figured out, and actually put some pressure on these guys. Because I know we've been saying just within conversations with each other, but if Surge can't figure out how to win, like, because LAT and Surge have pretty much the same map pool. So if Surge can't improve their play on that map pool that LAT is already playing, and LAT is already just working on expanding their map pool and literally just being good at everything in the game, then they're gonna fall behind, at least in terms of trying to get up into that spot that LAT is in right now.
I would say because the way we were discussing it was that they're like Vancouver's playing well against every team that they're squaring up against so far, except for LET because the map pool is pretty much the same. And when you have
Yeah.
like two Goliaths going at each other on the same map pool, one's better than the other, you're gonna get the same results. And even these maps that they played were the same ones that we saw in that finale. Vault, Skyline, another Vault. And it was so weird because you look at the series, it was a 3-0, but and the
It
scores
seemed like
themselves
it
were
should have been,
close, but it
yeah, the
wasn't.
maps themselves were closed, but it went 3-0. I mean, it doesn't matter if the maps were close
Like that
if you
that
can't
round
close out a
I would
map.
say that round 5 in Control was LAT dominance.
Mm,
And like they are the best control team in the league right now by far. Just the way
mhm.
they play it works perfectly. Skyline Surge Thieves almost gave that one away because it was 5-2 at one point, finishes 5-6. And then Vault Hardpoint was the closest one of that series at 250 to 170. But even then, it was, looking at this, it was almost a red carpet for the Surge, except for Neptune. Again,
And I mean,
continue.
yeah, Neptune is just, I mean, Neptune's like the catalyst for this team. I mean, Neptune came in and all of a sudden these guys are just making an absolute run through the league right now. And I mean, you watch Neptune, man, he is an absolute force on the map. He is moving. He can shoot. I mean, dude is absolutely disgusting. He can move. I mean, dude's got a left stick. I mean, shit.
Can confirm that's
I mean,
not simp.
that's all you need to qualify apparently anymore is a fucking left stick. So
Can confirm that's not simp playing for him. That is Neptune.
they got him a face cam, everybody. We can't confirm it was not simp on the burner.
And he's blonde.
And
And he's blonde. He can't.
he's blonde. He actually looks nothing like he does in the picture that like they have for him.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's probably an old one. But then moving on to the match after that, which was Toronto Ultra versus Vegas Falcons, which we don't really need to talk about because it was Vegas Falcons. They, you know, are still the Vegas Falcons.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
remember they
uh,
took like the search or something and almost took the control. And if they would have done that, then maybe it would have been an interesting series. But these guys have not gotten us like a two map wins in the same series this entire year. So
yeah.
there isn't a lot to talk
I
about.
mean, I still don't think they're gonna close out a series for the rest of the year. Like
Yeah,
seriously,
until they show me something, I'm not really gonna argue
they
with
can't.
that.
If they can't, if you literally cannot close out two maps, there's no way you're gonna make it to a third. So
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
much.
that just is what it is. I mean, like, there's a lot of these series, at least in terms of last weekend, just not a lot
Oh,
of
just
quality within
yeah,
them.
a lot of three
Just a
O's, a lot
lot of
of
just slop. Yeah, a lot of 3-0 slop. I mean, though, I mean, at least the last match I want to talk about in terms of last week, was the match to wrap up last weekend. Atlanta FaZe versus Boston Breach. I mean, Boston Breach bringing it 2-3 against one of the top teams when Boston Breach
especially
is like easily like one of the bottom teams right now.
especially after seeing FaZe like absolutely manhandle Minnesota, like grabbing
Yeah,
Estriel twice, getting a free two piece
yeah,
because of that.
it's
That was
it
crazy.
was ridiculous,
Just seeing that
but
series go the way it did. Um,
yeah,
and even Breach, like their match they played the day before against LAT, they got walked by them. So,
yeah,
like on paper, this last one should have been, you know, 3-0 FaZe, but Boston
yeah. You
Breach
would,
hang in
I mean,
there.
on paper, you would think this is a 3-0 DoorDash series. You'd think this like it's over, but
Yeah.
I mean, Boston put up a fight. I mean, Hacienda Hardpoint. I mean, this map was back and forth, and then Boston ends up closing it out. And I mean, I when I was watching this series, the player that was impressing me a little bit, I mean, he's been very lackluster throughout the year, but Cammy made a lot of big plays on these maps. I mean, he has the second most damage in the series. Granted, he does have a .94, but I mean, he was making like the right plays at the right times on the map, popping little two pieces when they need it. Like he's making plays in the right situation, but we're not seeing that consistency out of him or granted anybody on that team.
I
So,
haven't seen Cammy play well since Cold War. Like he keeps
yeah.
getting picked up by teams, and I'm just like, he was with Minnesota and Modern Warfare 2, and then he got dropped there, went down to Challengers, fried there, and then got picked up here. But I just, it's one of those things where like that's one of my negative things about Challengers. There's a lot of pros that get like bumped out of the league because they can't compete, go down to challengers, completely fry there because they're playing against a completely different skill set. And then they go, oh, well, he did good here, so let's pick him up. And then he does the same
Yeah.
thing. And it's been all year like this. I think if Boston doesn't make a good run at the major here, then that roster has to change, or I don't see them making champs. And I know it's really early to talk about champs already, but we're major two is around that time that if you don't get everything sorted, then you're not going to make a run long
Yeah,
term.
it's gonna be a really, really tough run for you if you don't have your shit sorted by at least the end of Major Two. Major
Yeah,
Two is like,
it's
I
it's a
mean,
very
people.
important one. Yeah,
Major 2 is the one where I mean, like, Major 1, you go through and it's like the game's picking up, people are figuring it out a little bit. Major 2,
everyone's kind of
people have
competitive.
figured the game out.
Yeah,
So, yeah, you gotta really lock in during Major 2 so you can set yourself up for a good spot to be able to at least make a champs run at the end of the
yeah,
season. But
and with I'm just looking at like some of these matches and some of these games. We're starting to see like the pull away from these teams on who's gonna be on the upper echelon. Because we saw like last year around this time, there was like the top four teams. We had uh at the time what was the Subliners, now Cloud9 New York, OpTic, FaZe, and then occasionally there was one or two with Ultra. Sometimes they were good, sometimes
yeah.
they weren't. But like it was just those four teams the entire year, and I don't think it's gonna be the same just because the way the game plays. But at a certain point, we are gonna see a little bit of separation because right now we have a top three team league, and then mediocre in the middle, and then poor at the bottom. And
Yeah.
then the biggest thing to think about is these guys need to figure out pretty much this weekend if this team is going to work or not because there's not a time. There's not usually we have 2 weeks in between the majors. It's like a week and then we're back in it. So if they do make those changes,
Yeah.
they got to make them quick and they got to make sure they make the right decisions. So if those teams
I
are
mean, it's
thinking
even
about
the
making a
same thing with
change,
OpTic, right?
then they
Like,
need to
if
do it now.
I mean, really, if OpTic like is planning to make changes at all in any kind of way, like they either are gonna have to make it after this major two, or they're just gonna have to, I mean,
Stick
try
it
and
out.
figure it out like they
Yeah.
have been doing.
I don't know. I think it's almost too late. But yeah, like you said, not a lot of great matches this last weekend. Um, but I don't know. There were some good ones. There were some that were like, oh wow, really? That's how that played out. Some we
Yeah.
saw pretty much how we thought they were gonna play out. Optics still can't beat Miami. I don't even think that's related to what's going on with them.
No,
I think that's just a
not
curse.
really. I mean, we literally get beat by them every time.
Like, yeah, we even called it. But I'm wondering because I was thinking this myself. So FaZe won the first minor, they won minor one, and then they won major
Hmm.
one. Thieves won major one or major two, minor two. Do you think that they win the second major? Do you think that's the pattern? Because then what the what does that mean for the future? Because I don't think there is any more minor tournaments. I think there was only gonna be two.
Yeah, I mean, it literally. You look at the standings right now in terms of the season. I mean, it's FaZe and Thieves just battling for it out
Yeah,
at the top
and then
with
Surge
a
right
like
behind them
100 point lead
somehow.
in, but like yeah, there's like 100 points, 50 points in between second and third. So it's literally just FaZe and Thieves at the top. But if Thieves can walk away with a major win and
They can
like
really start to pull away there.
they can start to pull away with the CDL points in terms of season standing. I mean, if FaZe wins it, I mean then it's like FaZe is way out in the lead and
Yeah, if
it's
they
gonna
win
take a
two
minute to catch up
majors,
to that.
yeah, it
Yeah,
might
you're
turn
gonna
into
have to.
Cold War phase, which is a scary thought because those guys won 3 out of 5 tournaments that season, including,
Yeah, that was insane.
and that's I don't even think that was including champs. I think that's four
No,
out
I don't
of
think.
because there's 5
Yeah.
majors and they won major one, major three, and major four, and then they won champs. So if they pull away and become that, oh, that's gonna be scary for everyone
Uh,
else.
yeah.
But yeah, again, we we're watching the Optic podcasts and stuff, and they're still kind of like, "Hey, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process." How long does that work?
Yeah. I mean, like if as of right now, I mean, trusting the process. We've been trusting the process for what, 3 or 4 weeks now. Um, and it doesn't seem like there's been any process to be had. I mean, if if there's a process, I mean, we have to start proving it now. I mean, we are way out behind in terms of this minor too, man. Like, it's over.
Yeah,
We have to get going. Something has to happen, or trusting the process. Like, how long is this process gonna be going on? Like,
I don't know. That
you know?
content's gonna be great if they can turn around the actual
Yeah.
process video
Yeah,
that they do. Yeah, that's
seriously.
gonna be great if they go from
Seriously.
like 0-5
Where's our
to
where's our ESPN 50 for 50, huh?
yeah. Oh
Matt
my god, and then
Craig.
calling. I don't know. I just they don't feel like there's from what I've seen there isn't like a lot of sense of urgency, and that's kind of my like I don't like that is that they're kind of just not they're okay with winning, not winning, but they're just like, "Oh yeah, we'll figure it out."
Yeah.
You're
It
that you're
doesn't
not concerned
really like
and like they're talking
yeah, it
about
doesn't seem like there's any sense to actually get something going. It just seems like they want. I mean, like I said earlier, like Kenny was saying, like they need that spark, and then it's gonna spark
yeah.
something to get going.
Do
But
you think the fans boo Optic Texas at their home event? Because there's been a lot of
I
negativity
mean,
online.
it'd be kind of ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
if
I
you
agree.
show up in optic gear just to boo your own
Yeah.
team, I mean, are you even really a fan? Like,
I saw one guy was like showing
what
up
the fuck?
to like the event and he's just like selling all of his merch. I'm like, "Oh, so
Yeah,
you just want out, right? Is that what's
yeah,
happening?"
exactly. Like,
Um,
there people saying like they're buying tickets and not gonna show up. Like,
who does that
dude,
help? All you're doing is
like,
like
yeah,
stealing a seat
you're
from
wasting your
someone.
own money.
You're wasting money,
Like,
you're padding
Mm,
numbers that is gonna hurt the overall scene, and then on
yeah.
top of that, someone else won't be able. I'm not saying that
Just
the
because
venue's gonna be
just
sold
because a
out, but
team that you like isn't doing good right now. I mean, like, you literally look at OpTic, the legacy of OpTic, and I mean, it's undeniable what
yeah,
OpTic has done for the Call of Duty scene, and to all of a sudden we're all of a sudden doing bad one season, really really bad, like the worst OpTic has ever seen in its like COD career, and all of a sudden everybody's like, man, fuck these guys, I'm done with this shit. Like
yeah.
you you're not a real fan.
And like, here's the thing, right? The Thieves, they won like the first 3 games of the season, right? And then we took that really long break, and then they came back for after the break. They looked really really bad. They lost, I think, 2 out of the last 3 of the games, plus like an 0-1 in the first minor tournament. They looked not great. They hit that
Yeah.
minor buff, or they hit that major buff, and dude, that team has looked great since. Yeah, they didn't win the major, but they were 1 round
Mm,
away from it. Like,
yeah.
that was when they were bad at search and destroy, you know. And so anytime you can just hit Lamb, they're gonna come out with the OpTic drums, on the stage. They're gonna do that ring
Boom,
ceremony,
boom, boom.
and then boom, you're right back. So just keep.
Whoa! Whoa!
You edit this. I'm having you edit. I'm not dealing with that audio peak. Oh my. But yeah, the ring ceremony. Let's talk about that, because that's gonna be on, I'm assuming, Thursday. I really should have looked that up,
Yeah, I
like when
mean,
that is. But they're
yeah,
doing a ring
but whatever.
ceremony for champs. I think
Um,
it's
I
weird
mean, it's
doing one, but
yeah. I mean, I understand why you would do one. I mean, at the same time, at a major for the next Call of Duty is kind of strange. I mean, I think it would be cool if they did like in a YouTube video
yeah,
or
just have
did
a like
it
event
on
or
like a
something.
live stream or something, or I don't know. But I mean, doing it at the major at the same place that they played champs is pretty
It's
cool.
cool. Yeah, I'll agree. But
That's a cool idea.
I mean,
Um,
it's just that my thing is like,
but
just
it's
don't get one and done.
yeah,
If
that's
you
the
get one
thing
and
is
done
like
after the ring,
with their situation right now, I mean, it's just so it's an odd situation because I mean, we were even saying this, but they weren't they it's not like when they planned this, like they were this bad
they were probably
or like
expecting to be just as good.
yeah, they were probably not expecting to be 0 and 15 in map count or whatever the fuck it is right now.
Yeah,
Like
at that point, yeah.
they were I mean, you don't ever expect anything like this. So just given the circumstances surrounding them right now, I mean, that's why people are like, "Man, this shit is weird. Why are you guys
Yeah.
doing this?" But like, I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, they
Yeah.
obviously deserve some kind of like appreciation like thing to show and give them their award for winning champs last
Yeah.
year.
Obviously
But I
everything
mean,
does.
just with their
Yeah, the
situation right
recognition.
now, it's just weird for him right now
Yeah,
to do something like
I
that.
agree.
But I mean, at the same time, you can't ever expect to be doing this bad. So, especially with a team like that. So,
Yeah. And then, you know, they I think that any point, like, Kenny was saying and stuff, they just they're going to um they're gonna hit that spark, and they're gonna be OpTic, because it's OpTic.
yeah,
They have a good org behind them. They got talented players behind them. They'll figure it out. I think people just need to chill out a little bit. Something's got to give soon.
yeah,
And if they don't get it figured out, then they need to start making these tougher choices.
yeah.
Um, but, if you have a
Just for
worse
the
map count,
overall wellness
then
of the team this season. Like I
it,
don't even think it wouldn't even be anything personal between like the org and the players or
yeah, I
anything.
don't
Like,
think,
and
yeah.
I know that the players and the org like would understand that, but I mean, it's just a situation. I mean, Kenny fucking wrapped his GTR with OpTic
Yeah.
colors and the OpTic logo. Like,
I,
dude,
s-
you let
I,
go of
s-
Kenny. Like, what the hell? Dude just
I
wrapped
saw
his car after he won champs.
I saw someone photoshopped to have Amit rap. I'm like, oh my god, that's
Like, dude, yeah, I
disrespectful.
mean, it's just, I mean, it's
Also,
stuff like
really
that.
good. Like, that was
Mm.
really good Photoshop. I'll tip it, you know. Um, but yeah,
But I mean,
yeah,
yeah, let's get into the matches
let's
coming
get
up
into
at
this
least
week's
today
smack.
and this weekend because
This
I mean,
weekend's
we have
matches
maps now. Or
right
no, we do
before
not have
we
maps.
don't, unfortunately. That would have been nice. I think we're just like I think we're 20 minutes early from getting map counts. So,
Yeah.
it's tough not having map counts. But getting into the first one of the day, we got Toronto Ultra versus the Vancouver Surge. Both
If
Toronto Ultra sitting at 4-2 record, and
I
Vancouver
will
sitting at
say
4-1.
Toronto has to come out swinging, but if Toronto comes out swinging, they could easily take this series.
That's a take. I mean, we saw this
I
during the
think so.
minor. This wasn't close. This was three
I think
over.
it could happen.
I think if they don't take, I don't think if Vancouver shows up and takes map one, or if Toronto doesn't take map one, they're not winning a map, because that's what the
Yeah.
Toronto's team's been, is like they play well against these like lower teams, mid teams, and then they square up against teams like FaZe, teams like Thieves, teams like Vancouver, and then they get slammed. Because again, even in the minor tournament last or 2 weeks
I don't
ago,
know.
we
I
just
just got a strange. I
I
mean,
thought
it's
this
not
was
even based off of anything. I literally just kind of talked out of my ass because I looked
yeah.
up and I kind of just had a gut feeling. There was just like a gut feeling. I looked up and I was like, you know what? I feel
Yo, the
like these
C's
guys
been
woke up electric
frying.
today for
That's the
some
thing.
reason.
I think you know what it comes down. It comes down to if Insight can shoot today. We've seen him when he's
Insight. Hey, hey, Insight. This thing right here. This is like this one right here. It it moves your character.
oh my god.
It move like and you can press it down and you'll run faster.
oh my
You can press it down twice and you'll run even faster.
that's
And
crazy.
and you can press it and you can move it to the side and you'll move to the side faster. Insight. Take notes, man.
I think
You
it's
need to
funny.
use
I think it's
you
funny.
need to use your left stick. It's
You
right
have
here.
you have the other one. You have the other one this set. We have the same sticks. It's just I thought that was interesting. But
I just have the cooler controller. You got the little pussy man controller.
alright, maybe one of these days for an maybe one of these days for an episode we gotta run ones or something. See if see if that'll see what
Dude.
happens. See what controller is better then. But yeah, getting into the series a little bit, looking at Vancouver, they have 3 wins in their last 5. And the same with Toronto. Both teams getting this kind of, I think it's more impressive than Vancouver's maps like last 5 than Toronto's. Especially because Toronto's,
Yeah.
yeah, they've 3-0'd Texas twice, and they 3-1 Vegas, and that is their
Yeah.
wins. They Vancouver and LAT, which again we've talked about how those two teams have very similar map pools, and so when you have that, and they're both getting 3-0 by that, I just don't see them. I don't see Toronto taking this one. So I'm gonna give
Yeah. I mean,
Vancouver.
I just said it because I
Yeah,
don't know. I looked up.
backpedaling. He's
I looked
backpedaling.
up. I'm not even backpedaling. I'm reinforcing my thought. of what I said earlier, I looked up and I just randomly had a gut feeling that I don't know. I for some reason Ben Beans woke up and took his morning shit, and I was like, yeah, this is the one tonight, or whatever his fucking British accent as.
Yeah, I think there's just a little more animosity because getting into the second series of the day, we got LAT versus OpTic Texas, a 5-0 team on LA Thieves and an 0-5 OpTic Texas squaring off. Um, He's gonna kick your desk this time with the force of
Oh, I
Zeus.
can't. Yeah,
Go for the other one
y'all wanna know? Okay.
behind the
Um.
scenes.
So my true feelings about this series. I mean, just
And he's done. All right, so I'm taking over the podcast now. This is LAT mindset only. We stand. Dan Ghosty is our savior. Paco will be leading us in Paco prayer. All right, he's back. Anyways, um, give me LAT 3-0. I think that this is one of those that either LAT will completely dominate or maybe Optic gets a spark, but no matter what, I don't think that it's I don't think it's gonna be enough to uh do anything. But yeah, give me LAT.
that's what I. Okay. Yeah. That.
We'd back
Yeah.
down to earth, yeah. Back down to
Uh.
earth.
3-1 LAT.
3-1. Interesting. He thinks he's getting a map.
Give us a map. Give
I
us a
respect
map.
that. I respect that, yeah. There's been a lot of
I mean,
3-0s with
it's been a lot of 3-0s. I mean, just get one, boys. I mean, I will be proud. You know how proud I'd be very proud of them right now to get a map against LAT, like out of any team, honestly.
it will probably be the search, if anything. Like LAT's gotten better, but search is such a mixy mode that it's like, oh man, that's interesting. But wrapping up our Friday, we have the Carolina Royal Ravens versus the Miami Heretics. Carolina is sitting at a 3-2 record on the edge of winners bracket, and Miami is at 2-3 with a very realistic chance to get into winners bracket if they can get a win today and win tomorrow against Boston Breach. Did anyone
In
check the
this series,
crumble? Did anyone check the crumble today?
I mean, I had a really good blueberry lemon cookie earlier.
Like
I mean,
what? A crumbleology is real. I swear. You look at that, and if that looks good, give me the Ravens. Um,
um, I'm, I'm just gonna take the Ravens in this series, honestly. I mean,
um,
given given I feel like Miami could take the hardpoint map one off of them, but
yeah,
other than that, I mean, I think these guys take everything else. Neslo.
I'm. I'm gonna take a risk here. I don't think I've done this much this season. I'm gonna take Miami. They're starting to find some momentum. They did this right before Major One. They kind of need to get right back footing. But again, these were both top 4, top 5 teams in Major One. Both didn't have a great minor tournament. I think the ceiling for Carolina to disappoint me is higher than the ceiling for Miami, but that's just because I have less expectations. It really comes down to if the ARs are shooting. Um, for both teams, really, if you look at it. But give me Miami 3. I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be like a 3-2, 3-1 type thing.
Yeah. Give
But
me Carolina on the
yeah,
Neslo angle.
yeah, I think that'll be
I'll
not bad
take it.
picks.
Yeah.
Not bad picks at
Carolina
all.
on the Neslo angle. Miami takes both hard points, and then Carolina will take everything else.
Yeah. And then moving on to Saturday, which is a 4.
Miami gets to go to bed off of playing COD and then wake up playing COD. They're
Yeah,
right back into it.
right
You
back
ever
into
had
it.
to fucking go to work, right? You go to work one night, you
A
fucking
clopen
sleep,
ship,
and then you gotta go open that. Yup.
close open
Miami
shift.
got the closing and opening shift this weekend.
They got the clopen. Give me
They got the
Miami.
clopen shift.
Yeah. So give me Miami. Boston hasn't looked good. They've lost 5 straight against both good and mediocre teams. Yeah, they pushed FaZe to map 5, but they couldn't even, like, if you push teams to that point and you don't get it, then, you know, and it's weird. Miami likes to pick this up. They're a better team just in the different modes altogether. Boston, like I said, if they don't make a
Yeah.
change soon, I don't think they're even
Overall,
making champs. Um,
overall, I think the players on Miami. I mean, I don't think I know my players on Miami have just been playing way better all
yeah.
season compared to these cats on Boston.
Yeah. Even at, I'll take Miami's low at Boston's high, pretty much is where it comes down to me, is like that, we see teams just not, they're one of those teams that's like we think that they're going to get over the hedge and then they don't.
Yeah.
So pretty
Yeah. Give
simple
me
one.
give me Heretics. I mean, I'll go 3-1 on that. I guess I'll
Give me
give Boston a map.
3-0. I don't even think I'll give
Yeah.
Boston a map, honestly. Especially if they're low, if they're not playing well, then I don't think suddenly a
Yeah.
change is gonna do something like that. Moving on to the
Talking about 3-0.
Yep, yep. Minnesota
Talking
got
about 3-0, the
embarrassed.
next match on Saturday, we have LAT playing the Minnesota Rocker.
5-0,
Um,
like we mentioned before, with LA, and 3-2 Minnesota Rocker. Minnesota was 3-1 at one point, and then got absolutely grand slam belt to ass against FaZe. Embarrassed, got grabbed from behind twice, two-piece
yeah.
in the search and the control. Yeah, give me the
I
IT.
mean, yeah, give me LAT 3-0. We don't even really have to talk about this that much.
Yeah.
Minnesota just can't beat anybody other than bottom tier teams right now. And I mean, as long as that's happening, they are just not going to be able to push past mid pack.
Oh, this is 100% voted towards LAT on the predict the winner. Um, Yeah, 3-0 LAT. That's what the comments are saying. Looking at the maps, yeah, no. Give me LAT. Pretty simple. Speaking of simple, we got the Carolina Royal Ravens taking on the 0-6 Vegas Falcons. Yeah.
We
They
got another three. We got a day of 4 matches, and 3 of
have
them are gonna be 3-0s.
yeah. That's tough,
Or maybe all 4 of them. We could get a
Yeah,
Saturday of all 4
of yeah,
3-0s.
that looking ahead a little bit. Yeah, I agree with that. I remember they were playing against the Gorilla Mates, which we'll talk about here in a second. Um, they almost took they almost took a hard point. That was
They
the high.
almost had it. They almost did it.
They almost took a. They're like somewhat decent at one hard point, and then just absolutely god awful at the rest. And even then, they
Yeah.
still can't win. The house betting odds are like 11, which is insane. Um, but yeah, give me Ravens. We don't need to dive into that one too
Yeah.
terribly much.
I mean, even this next one, I mean, other than maybe talking about the
The role,
gorillas a
well,
little bit.
we talked about the role
Um,
change a little bit. I don't think it's gonna be enough. I
yeah.
respect the role change. Um, I think this is one of those teams where if they're like Minnesota and Boston, if things don't go well at this major, you have to have a sit down discussion and be like, all right, who needs to go? How this
Yeah.
needs to be a 1-2 person change, and it's not gonna be pretty no matter what. They tried switching out people's guys for Priesta back in. Um, it just it hasn't really worked.
Yeah, it's
They
just
beat
not working.
Falcons, I guess. Congrats. You picked on the kid in the hospital. Um,
You picked on the Make-A-Wish kid. What the fuck is wrong with y'all, man?
like that's essentially what that is.
I mean, yeah, give me phase 3-0 in the series. I
Yeah.
mean, commendable role change, but it just isn't doing much for this team that isn't going anywhere right now.
And speaking of
Um,
Clopen shifts, the Gorilla Mates also are pulling one this
Also on the
weekend.
Clopen,
Uh,
and then we got the Toilet Bowl to open up
but
Sunday. We got the absolute fellas down in OpTic, Texas, and then we got LAG. Um, if OpTic is
if you
gonna
don't
win a
win this one,
series right now,
if you don't win this
yes,
one, there
if
isn't winning
OpTic is
one.
going to win a
Um,
series, it has to be this one.
I agree. It absolutely has to be
It
this one.
absolutely has to be this series. If we don't win this series, it's over.
They just don't have like they haven't Optic just doesn't have a good map pool. And somehow grows are worse.
Yeah,
Um,
and you also even speak on Vegas Falcons. I
yeah.
mean, literally, Optic Texas, their only last win was against the Falcons,
Yeah.
and I bet you these guys playing now, just running solo around the map the entire time,
We were
could
talking
still put the Vegas Falcons in a hole.
we were talking about it. It was like, you know, you beat Vegas. Good job. Like, go back to my major one. There was teams not scrimming Falcons because they were so bad.
Yeah,
Um, and so if your only win is against them, that's saying a lot. So if you don't get this
yeah,
one, then there's problems. This is the one I think will give the team their spark. I don't think it's going to be against LAT today, just because LAT's been looking so good. Maybe if they are really expanding their map pool in that matchup today, they could probably take a few maps, but that they would have to really push you. Again, we won't
yeah.
really know
That's gonna be
until
really
map
tough. I mean, it's
comes
a really
out.
tough series to start off the weekend. But we could
Yeah,
end this weekend with our first series win.
with your head held
So,
high.
yeah, with a little bit of hope at least.
Yeah, and then second match of the Sunday, we got Minnesota Rocker versus Vancouver Surge. Yeah, I this is gonna be awkward for Minnesota because again they play LAT on Saturday and then have to play Vancouver Surge on Sunday. It's similar what we've been saying against this other teams is if they can't beat Thieves on this map pool, you're probably not gonna beat Surge. Same type of
Yeah.
thing, same type of map pool, same type of overall impact with the game. And but yeah, just give me Vancouver. Um,
Yeah, I'll take Vancouver 3-0 in that one.
yeah, I
I
agree.
don't even think it'll be close. Yeah, Rocker just they don't they're so awfully middle of the pack
Yeah,
that it's like
and
it's
inconsistent is the
yeah,
biggest word I would use to
they're
describe
just
them.
they are the definition of middle of the pack right now.
And I'm sorry, their logo before they merged with G2 or whatever their company is was so much better. This red eye is just not it. And like even on the jerseys, it's like
Yeah.
that patch is so awkward. If it was just the logo, it'd look fine, but it's like that red in the
Mm,
background. Like that doesn't line up. And when
yeah.
the jersey fits, but the fit isn't good, then maybe you need some more pillows. All
Don't
right,
make fun of Paul X. He's not that fat.
wrapping up Sunday
Wrapping
before the
up.
major. We got FaZe
Honestly,
versus Cloud9.
honestly,
The closest match of the weekend,
if
probably.
yeah, if Boston Breach was able to run up FaZe like that and FaZe come into this weekend not playing super hot, I could see
Yeah.
Cloud9 taking this. But the only way that happens is if Cloud9's really got to come out playing, man.
Oh,
Like they gotta come out
they have to
swinging.
come out shooting,
Mm,
for sure.
just
But I think over looking at this is like, yeah, this could be a quick weekend of COD right before the major, and then teams are gonna have to make decisions. Um, I think that it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be a
mean,
very fun day of um back and forth of that. But yeah, just Cloud9's just played so inconsistently. Um and they don't have a good hard point. They don't really, their search is 50-50 and their control is just bad. So again, like you said, they have to come out shooting against
hmm
this because they play against good teams and then they get slammed. Again, they're a middle of the pack team. I don't know why I have such faith in this roster to actually do well, but you know,
No, I mean, I agree. I think this roster on,
it
at least on
should.
paper, when I saw this roster first form, I was a little skeptical, but I at the same time could see them in an angle where they perform, and I mean, they've shown that they can perform. I mean, Sib has struggled this year a little bit with his slaying power. I mean, because Sib, at least last year, um, I mean, you knew him for being on the map as a heavy slayer. I mean, he had a lot of slaying power behind him, and it just doesn't seem like there's that fire behind him this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, he also is not playing beside Paco, so I mean, it's like
I think
I
it's
mean,
interesting. I was looking at the advanced stats for the teams, like win percentage of all like hardpoint, search and destroy, and control. And again, this is good news for OpTic fans. You're still fifth in this
hmm
percent. In these percent, you're still there. There's like still half the league behind you that's worse in these categories. Obviously, recency bias is affecting some of these because Vancouver Surge is still ninth in that, but they've looked like the third overall team in the
yeah.
league. But so again, these stats are a little like recency bias, obviously, but there's still like definitely stuff to improve on, like stuff
Like
to
we have
improve on,
room.
and
We have like it's not like us going through this spurt through major two has fucked us for the rest of the year.
yeah, just
We
if you
still have time.
just gotta figure it out now, really.
hmm
Um, Jodeci's Player of the Week had an average weekend of a 1.5 KD. Obviously, that was greatly, greatly, greatly affected by the 205 overall series
Yeah,
KD.
2.05 series KD against us. I mean,
um,
that was absolutely insane. I'll say it on every pod
yeah,
till I'm 6 feet in the ground. But Joe Deceives is one of the most fun POVs to watch in the league.
yeah,
He's a very dominant sub when he gets going.
yeah.
I
So,
mean, you probably even love to see that because he
oh
came from the
yeah,
LAT.
yeah. I love seeing any of the LAT um boys fry. I think Krem's probably the most inconsistent of the four, but he
Yeah,
still has its moments where he just will get a four piece, and it's like I could see why those players didn't work as a team with LAT, but it's really cool to see them actually still perform. Jodeci's playing well. Ghostie's playing well. Kremp's playing pretty well. Um,
nasty.
Nasty, he when he's on his shit, he's on his shit. Um, but yeah, the power rankings kind of just haven't changed that much. I still kind of I would move teams here and there from it, but you know, um, I love how we're still talking about where who's gonna go. Entire tournament go.
Yeah,
I saw something that he got an offer like originally from
didn't he get an offer from
Vancouver.
Surge?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
got a Vancouver offer and he said no. And honestly, that's probably the best for him because considering how they're playing right now, so he's probably feeling not great about that. But
yeah,
yeah, so that's con
but
for the
yeah.
week, last week, this week. Um,
This week, we got
like we
Major
said,
Two coming up.
yeah, we're gonna be back in the studio next week. You'll love to
Yes,
see that.
sir. Yeah, always. It's always better to be back in the studio. It
Yeah,
makes these
absolutely.
episodes so much more entertaining.
And
So,
and I don't have to mess with OBS, so you'll able to see
yeah,
that. Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
All
that's
right,
been
guys.
the
Well,
respawn rundown for this week, episode 3.
thank you guys
Another
for watching.
banger.
episode 3 of
LET's gonna
Respawn
3-0
Rundown.
OpTic. What?
Shut up.
Who said that?
I'm gonna
That's so
fucking
mean.
kill
Who
you.
said that?
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. No.
Alright.
Thank you guys for watching episode 3 of Respawn Rundown. Hit that subscribe button.
And the bell.
Hit that bell thing.
Do all the YouTube
that
stuff.
whole YouTube shiz. All that YouTube
All
shiz.
that. And GG go next.
Thank you guys for watching. GG go next.